his first
Oh,
time.
my friend died.
Mom,
We killed it.
oh, I'm going to take a picture. Josh is on it.
Here, I'm videotaping. What is that? What do you think? All right. The boys each got going.
Last Minute Man, and first and foremost, Merry Christmas to everybody watching at home. I'm here at my home with my good buddy, Mr. Obvious. And Mr. Obvious, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about a Ruger today.
Yeah.
45 ACP. It's a P90 DC.
Yep, and this actually is really interesting. You don't see a lot of these, or at least I haven't. I've known of one other that I've ever fired, and that was years ago. A buddy of mine had it. And I believe his was in 9mm, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, these were kind of neat. They were around a lot when I was younger, like in high school and whatnot. You saw a lot of these. And then all of a sudden they disappeared, and you didn't see them. And some people will say, and I've watched other videos, I didn't want to get persuaded by someone else's opinion. I wanted to look at this with fresh eyes. So, but I have read people say things like, oh, well, it was an antiquated design is why they quit making it. Personally, I really like it. I think it is a very interesting firearm. One of my favorite features on this is the decocker, you know, so that is cool. You know, and it's a double action. Of course, we have checked. This is clear, but double action, the double action pull on it is really smooth. And we'll talk about a lot of that kind of stuff in the AAR. But aesthetically, and I'll flash some pictures up on screen, this is a neat looking sidearm. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, it seems to be well built too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little overbuilt, you might say. I mean, it does feel hefty. It's not heavy, but it's got a lot of girth, you know. It's got a lot of weight to it. Or not weight, but size, you know, especially I've got normal size hands. I'm not a small guy, but I'm not, you know, 6'4" or 6'6" or anything either. So I would call myself fairly average. And, you know, this in my hand feels a little bulky. But something else I want to talk about real quick is the magazine. And I'll show this up close here. And that is aesthetically almost identical to a 1911 mag.
Close to it.
Yeah, I mean, you could have these sitting there, and I shoot a lot of 1911s. I would pick that up thinking I was grabbing a 1911 mag. Now, they're not interchangeable, but they almost feel like they'd interchange, don't they?
Well, I've tried to put a 1911 in there. The only difference I've seen, see the groove here that locks your mag in? 1911's up here, and this one's down here.
Yeah, so the lock.
So the lock on it is.
But it's obviously aesthetically similar in ways to a 1911. And like I said, we'll get into that stuff in the AAR. I already know somebody's getting fired up. That's nothing like a 1911. Okay. But we're going to talk about things. But without any further ado,
let's get shooting.
Let's shoot. Okay, Mr. Obvious is taking the first shots. I had to convince him to step back just to 30 feet. He wants to go back to like 40 yards and shoot at it. And I said, Mr. Obvious, let's do this. This is a realistic range for this firearm. And we'll talk a little bit about it. Unlike a 1911, when you're carrying a 1911, one in the chamber and it hot, ready to go, the hammer is back and the safety's on. Okay? On this particular firearm, you're carrying one in the chamber and I would have it decocked. So your first shot would be double action. Yeah. So we're going to treat it just like that. Have it chambered, have it in the decocked position. And then he's going to just go ahead and decock it there. And he's just going to draw when I say shooter ready, go. And he's going to put 2 on that target there. Yep. All right. So, Mr. Obvious, are you ready?
I'm ready. I think I got 5 rounds in it.
All right. Shooter ready?
Ready.
And go. Well, he did get 2 on target. But now your first shot's double action, and what's interesting is you hit it. The shots after that were misses, and those were all single action. So it can kind of throw you off a little bit.
I don't know if I've ever fired this gun.
No. Well, I've never fired it. I'll take a few shots.
It don't shoot like a 1911. This gun, the way I was holding it, like I do my other pistols, it was coming up too high.
Yeah.
I need to get more into it.
Yep.
To hold it down. It's real light.
Yeah. Deceivingly, isn't it? Deceivingly.
Yeah. It's real light.
I believe it's an aluminum frame.
I was shooting over it, so the last shot I helped lower.
Well, yeah, I saw him hitting to the right of it there. You can see it hitting the dirt. Well, I'll fire a few shots, see how I do.
Just hold it down.
All right. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. Load it up, shoot double action. Pardon the wind noise that you're hearing. That's just par for the course here at the Last Minute Man range. So, here we go. So, chamber.
Decock.
We're in double action mode. Okay?
Ready to go.
So let me know, Mr. Roberts.
All right. Go.
All right. Didn't fire.
Huh?
We had it done.
Got it done?
It can happen. Okay, so I'm going to come up close and show you, Mr. Obvious, see if you can catch this on camera. Is it showing up there?
Yeah.
It's got a light primer strike. So that was one of these steel case Wolf rounds. So we're going to go to all brass this time. And hopefully my first shot, we did that on purpose, put that in the first shot. I wasn't expecting that to happen.
Nah.
But it also showed, I felt like I lunged just a little bit when I pulled that trigger. Okay. Got it decocked. All right. Now I'm just holding it. We don't have a holster for this. So, okay, Mr. Obvious, say when.
Go.
All right. Now it grouped excellent. Let's get down here and look at this. Okay, here we go. Now here's where Mr. Obvious hit. I believe this was your first shot and then the last shot. Okay, here's where I did. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you can cover that whole thing with your hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really like the way this thing shoots. I mean, is it a tack driver? Well, I mean, it depends. Are you using it for what it was made for, or are you gonna try to do trick shots with it? And we are back with our after action report. And what do we have to report today, Mr. Obvious?
We're going to report it's definitely a close-range gun today.
Well, for us anyway. And, you know, this is just a quick video, something we wanted to put out for y'all. Like I said, it's Christmas, and I'm actually out here breaking a sweat. It's like, what, 65 degrees, and it's like raining?
Yeah,
I said springtime in December, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you never know. We're due. We're going to get hit with a cold one. I know it. Yeah. But let's talk about this here. Some cold steel here.
Yeah.
And I do like this. I do like this. It's an absolute pleasure to shoot as far as, you know, being soft, light recoiling. Yeah, as a defensive firearm, it works exactly as you would expect it to work. Obviously, I have no experience with this firearm, actually. Today's the first time I've ever fired this in a 45. Like I said, I had a buddy that had one of these years ago in a 9mm, and it shot okay. I actually thought this shot better, but that could have a lot to do with my experience has changed as well. So my shooting capabilities gotten better over the years, I would hope. You know, but yeah, to shoot a 50-yard shot, or like we do with my 1911s, we can get off here and at 75 yards hit that target. And actually, you do that with 357 mags quite frequently. But those are guns we've shot a lot, and we know right where they're dropping and where they're printing. And in order to do that with this, we would have to get off sandbags and set up a big plywood target or something and see where our bullets are going. Yeah. And we could walk it in. But as far as just a defensive firearm, this is excellent.
That's a good gun.
Now, tell the story about why this one's special, and this will always be in the family. He'll never let this go. Yeah. I think it's a funny story. But I'll let him tell.
It's a funny story, Will.
I think it's funny. We can laugh now.
Yeah, back years ago, of course, the feller's dead and gone, family member. He ended up in the yard one day with some crazy punks on meth. They was on meth.
This is in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Southern Kentucky, by the way.
Well, they come ramping up his driveway.
Yeah.
And so they come ramping up the driveway and run right at him. And the car chased him into the house.
Now, at this time, he's a World War II veteran, mind you. And at this time, how old was he? 80?
80.
He's 80 years old.
Yeah. So
he runs into the house.
Then he comes running back out, hollering, screaming, "Get out of my yard! Get out of my yard!" Well, they do a donut in the yard.
He came back with, he was armed.
He come back, and
they were trying to run him over. And yeah.
So he runs in the house, and he comes out with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Well, he had a Pomeranian dog he let out to run out all the time to use the bathroom. The coyote got after it one day, so he changed the shell. He took the double-aught buckshot out, put regular bird shot in.
Yeah.
So the guys run over one of his trees, that big around.
Uh-huh.
He just planted his trees. Well, he's really mad now.
Yeah.
Then he comes running back up, and they come all the way up close on the sidewalk here where you go in the door.
Yeah.
That's when he come out with the shotgun.
Yeah.
He unloaded the shotgun.
And when that was empty.
Yeah. Then
he drew this.
Threw the shotgun down. Drew this out.
80 years old. This is what's awesome.
Emptied this into the car.
Yeah. and disabled the vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, it needed a hood, it needed a door, it needed a windshield, and a front fender.
He was able to get them basically stopped and held them off with this firearm until the police got there.
Yeah.
Held him at gunpoint.
Yeah.
And, this is an 80-year-old World War II veteran. And the story, I remember hearing about it at the time. It was just unbelievable. It made news. You know, it was on the news. And, so he had security cameras outside, caught the whole thing on film. I wish we had it. You probably could get access to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
but yeah, I'd love to show that on here. And we can laugh about it now because no one was killed.
No.
I believe the guy that was driving is actually still in prison over that, but over a different reason. Like, he spent 5 years, got out. And, I mean, that was attempted murder. He was trying to run over an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
In his own yard. It was a wild story, man.
Yeah, the burning out black marks was on his walkway in front of his porch.
Oh, yeah.
So, law seen that and said, there's your gun back. Ain't nothing we can do. They charged you with a deadly weapon with a car, so you had a right to defend yourself.
Yep, and I believe one guy narked on the other guy. They talked. That's how they knew they were meth heads and all that. And the passenger narked on the driver. And they were there to rob him, is what they were there to do. Yeah. And this is before things got as wild as they are today. You know, I mean, heck, I was in college when that happened. So that was like 2004, I believe. And it might have been 06.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in that time frame. But pretty amazing that a man at 80 years old was able to defend himself, you know, with a handgun and a shotgun, you know, the things that they tell you shouldn't be able to have. And he defended himself, and, he was a combat veteran from World War II. I mean, he wasn't the kind of guy you wanted to mess with. He good man. He would dress up as Santa Claus for Christmas, speaking of Christmas.
And everything.
He would do that, and he's just a good person, you know. But, yeah, man, if you came looking for trouble, you found it.
They found it.
Yeah, they found it. But I said, let's tell that story, Mr. Obvious, because that's something that's interesting. Like I said, he was a celebrity. It made the news out here. But I wish I could get that film, but I don't know if it still exists or not. But
I don't know.
But yeah, neat stuff. But yeah, this he trusted this. This is what he grabbed. You know. Yeah. And he was a revolver man. He liked his 44 Magnums but
he liked 44 Magnums and 45s.
Yeah.
He knew what a 45 because that's what he carried in World War II was a Thompson 45.
Yeah, he had a Thompson.
He knew what it would do.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what he would say. You know, those would be his words. I know what it'll do.
Yeah. In its range, he knew what it would do.
Yeah, what it's capable of. So yeah, you'll see a lot of people, you know, and it's fun to watch, guys. They want to slam this, slam that. Everybody's got their pet cartridge that they like or their pet firearm they like. Yeah, tell a Glock guy a 1911 is a superior firearm. Watch that conversation. That's funny. Or vice versa. You know, people, you know, brand loyalty and all that. I'm not that way. I like what I like, and if something shoots good, I like it. You know, if it is a good firearm, if it's well built, I like it. I like this. there's better options today, I think.
Yeah.
You know, better firearms exist today, and I think that is kind of one of the reasons they don't make them anymore. It is in ways antiquated, and the reason I say it's similar to a 1911, not the ergonomics of it or anything, but well, the fact that it's a single stack mag, and it's got a very similar like mainspring setup in here and everything. Now, I haven't broke the whole thing down and looked at it. Obviously, the trigger's different, but it just had a similar kind of setup there, and I was like, like everything looks familiar to me, you know.
Yeah.
Like I could break this down and work on it, I'm sure. But you know, I like it. I mean, all in all, I bet you could probably pick one of these up reasonable too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know what magazines cost for them now or anything, but yeah, if you've got one of these, let us know in the comment section what you think about these. I'd love to do a more like extensive review, but I don't want to beat up on this firearm, you know, because it does have a level of sentimental value to it. And you know, I mean, what we show you today, it shoots. You know, it's a good gun, I think. You know, and this is something, yeah, you could trust. You know, but like I said, there's probably better options ergonomically, more accessible parts, that kind of things today. I would imagine, and I didn't even look it up, but a P90 Delta Charlie here, I would imagine isn't too expensive.
I wouldn't think so.
So you're getting a lot of bang for the buck.
Yeah.
You know. So let us know in the comment section anything you want to add there, Mr. Obvious.
No, we just I was looking at we had a light primer strike, but that's a steel case, steel primer.
Yeah.
So, you know, but with the regular UMC and this Winchester, I mean, it fired every one of them, bam, 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 bam.
And then
right
the
off.
second time I put that through, it fired.
Yeah, which we put it back in the gun, snapped on it again,
Yeah.
and it went off.
And
it's,
we did that off camera. But, yeah, and how much of that could have been just it sat around? I mean, you haven't taken this apart and really thoroughly cleaned it or anything.
Oh, that gun ain't been fired in years.
Probably the last person to fire it was him, and it was probably that time.
Yeah.
So this probably hasn't been out of safe since then.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. I thought that was a neat story, and he was a good man and a real war hero. So I like to tell stories about him. We were proud of him.
He's actually in the Battle of the Bulge. So,
yeah.
He was there.
So he was the real McCoy, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, great guy, very good to people, good to children. But man, if you came looking for trouble,
look out.
You found it.
You found it.
And because he went bat an eye, it didn't bother him to throw down. So, but anywho, so let us know any good holiday stories you know. And with that, everybody remember, keep your knives sharp, keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man and watch us on
Rumble.